Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I want to talk about the brand new Ghostbusters trailer. I want to give my thoughts on the trailer itself and also talk about some of the controversy that's surrounding it as well. So here we go. So the brand new Ghostbusters trailer just dropped this morning and the internet has collectively lost its mind. Now, a ton of people are applauding this movie and are very excited for it to come out, while a more vocal majority are already lambasting the film for various reasons. Some people are angry and feel like this is some kind of feminist ploy in order to have an all-female lead cast. Some people are mad that there's apparently no cameos for any member of the original cast from Ghostbusters. And some people feel that the story just lacks any of the original charm that Ghostbusters originally had. So for starters, the trailer already sets itself up for failure in the opening text, basically stating that 30 years ago, 4 scientists saved New York City. Well, there's a problem right there because Winston Zeddemore wasn't actually a scientist, he just worked for the Ghostbusters. And the other problem with this fact is it's acknowledging that Ghostbusters has happened 30 years ago, whereas later on in the trailer, Melissa McCarthy's character basically states, we could offer a service here, stating that Ghostbusters never really happened. The fact that this movie is being pegged as a sequel and not a reboot, while still showing that the events of Ghostbusters haven't really inherently happened by stating that they've been studying paranormal activity their entire life, whereas none of these major events like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or the coming of Gozer or the coming of Vigo, nothing is mentioned in this in regard to the original Ghostbusters film. So it doesn't really feel like a sequel, it definitely feels like a reboot. Also, it goes on to show the license plate Ecto-1 on the hearse. I mean, anyone who knows basic traffic law or anything about the DMV knows that everyone gets their own unique license plate number. And if Ghostbusters had happened 30 years ago, they would have had to buy the Ecto-1 with that license plate, change over the registration, and then they would now be in possession of the Ecto-1 license plate. But they got a brand new plate for a brand new vehicle, thus also affirming that the events of Ghostbusters had never happened. In the opening parts of the trailer, we basically get a rehashed scene from the first Ghostbusters where they go and re-encounter the librarian ghost that spews slime onto one of the female leads, which a few seconds later she makes a joke about how you don't know how hard it is to get that slime out, it goes in every crack. So it's like, okay, we have to interpret that as we're already getting a genitalia joke. If we're not supposed to interpret that as a genitalia joke, I think the point would have been brought across if she had just said, you don't know how hard it is to get that slime out, it gets everywhere, instead of saying it goes into every crack. Further on in the trailer, we begin to see some more of the Ghostbusters gear, and it's kind of weird. For a movie that came out in the 80s, their gear looks more realistic than this new version of Ghostbusters, which all of the stuff just looks like toys. I mean, really, between the dual-wielding pistols and the way the new Ecto-1 looks, I mean, everything just looks like it's made to be a toy. Even the proton pack, it just looks like a giant, like imagine the game Simon, the different colored parts of the disc that you touch. It just looks like an all red Simon disc that's just thrown on the back. It looks like this movie's just being made to sell toys to kids. Proceeding further on in the trailer, we finally get the motivation for our story. Someone is building a device in order to increase paranormal activity. That isn't really the biggest draw or the deepest story if you think about it. Essentially what this is going to be is you're going to find some generic motivation in order to build the device. They're going to be confronting the guy who built the device and then they're going to destroy the device. My problem with this movie is not that it's an all-female cast. My problem with this movie is not that it's a reboot or a sequel. My problem with this movie is just that it looks like a generic, dumb movie. And I'm sorry, but that argument that I would hate a movie just because of its female lead characters, two of my favorite movies right here. And you know what? Gender has nothing to do with the quality of a movie. Gender has nothing to do with the delivery of a performance. It has everything to do with the writing. With the absences of Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray from the writing staff, you can tell that that reflects in the writing for this movie and the trailer. Now, if you're someone who is excited to see this film, if you're someone who watched the trailer and you think, man, that actually looks really awesome, you know what? Good for you. I sincerely hope it is everything you want it to be. I hope you have a great time. I truly do. I mean that sincerely. But watching this trailer, I have no hope for the Ghostbusters movie. It just seems like they spent half of the film's budget getting Chris Hemsworth in the film, the other half on special effects, and none of the budget on writing. The other problem I've had with this trailer is a lot of people say that it has maintained some of the original charm from the Ghostbusters film, and I simply don't see that. The original Ghostbusters film, now I'm not going to go into gender roles here, I'm just going to talk about people in generalities. But the original Ghostbusters was about 4 people who went into business for themselves, and they were the underdogs. They were the people that weren't believed in, they built their business, and then the city needed them, and then they ended up saving the world. The original Ghostbusters story had a story that was rooted in Sumerian legend, the coming of Gozer, the destruction of the world and the universe, and this one is just basically some guys building a machine to increase paranormal activity, and the Ghostbusters have to go out and fix it. Where is the depth in the story? The really sad thing about this trailer is I've seen enough trailers for movies that have ended up to be bad to know when I see a trailer that uses all of its best jokes and best moments in the trailer and then the rest of it is just filler. And unfortunately, I feel like the Ghostbusters trailer has all the best jokes in the movie in it, and then the rest is just going to be possibly a 2-hour ride where you just feel your ass get numb. The trailer is what's supposed to be what draws in the viewer. It's supposed to be what gets you hyped to see the movie. And after watching this trailer, I'm more pissed off than anything. I mean, I don't even want to go back and watch my original films right now just because I'm that upset about even thinking about the Ghostbusters being bastardized in this fashion. And it's not because of an all-female cast. For me, it's the writing. Some people hate this because it's an all-female cast, but I feel like that's a narrow-minded generalization of the problems that this movie has. Sony has even begun deleting comments on the video to preserve any positive image that this movie may have left. Now, I like to think I have a very open mind whenever it comes to reboots, sequels, or any movie in general. Hell, you have to have a pretty open mind if you're watching movies like Big Man Japan or fucking Thumbtack. But I just don't see the new Ghostbusters film bringing anything to the table. I don't see it succeeding, and I think it's going to turn out to be a big stinker. And it's a shame too, because with the release of the Ghostbusters game, which had an amazing original story, and with the unfortunate passing of Harold Ramis, there has never been more hype for a Ghostbusters sequel. Unfortunately, with that working against this movie as well, I feel like this movie's just doomed out of the gate. I hope I'm wrong. I sincerely hope I'm wrong, because I would love to live in a world where we finally get a great Ghostbusters 3. I would love to live in a world where we have a continuation of one of my favorite series of all time, but I just don't think this year is going to be the year of Ghostbusters. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video on my thoughts on the new Ghostbusters trailer. Have you seen it? What do you think about it? How do you think the movie's gonna do? That's right, I'm opening Pandora's internet box. I'm letting the shitstorm come in, so please let me know down below what you think about the trailer. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can also watch me live play games on my Twitch TV channel. Links in the description box below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great night.